going on, everyone? I'm Jim, and this is my Overland build, the Little Ruby Subi. It's a 2015 Subaru Outback Premium. I have lifted it, got all-terrain tires, got my snorkel, flooded my engine, so this is my little insurance policy to prevent that from happening in the future. One of my sponsors is Spiked Performance. They sent me these totally awesome hood louvers here. Coming down the way, just put on these brand new Milestar Patagonia all-terrain tires, super chunky, super awesome. Looking forward to really testing them out in the mud, in the dirt. Alrighty, so this is my snorkel. About a year and a half ago or so, I went through a puddle a little too fast and a little too deep and sucked water right in, hydrolocked the engine. So to prevent that from happening in the future, picked myself up a snorkel. It's actually for I believe a first gen 4Runner, because they don't make snorkels for Outback. So just take a little bit of engineering and a little bit of ingenuity and made it work on my Outback.
So did the engine, like, do you have to swap an engine, or are you able to get all the water and everything out? Or?
Yeah, I had to swap the engine. It was there were valves that were bent, rods that were bent. It only turned about 30% of the way before it locked, and 30% back the other way. So we had to throw a whole new engine in there.
Wow.
So I've got a maxi-track awning. I use it for when I go surf fishing, when I go camping, any of that. Always good to have an axe when you're off-roading, just in case you come across a tree or some kind of obstacle in the way. Got a set of Diode Dynamic SS3 pod lights up on the roof for that extra visibility. Got an awesome ladder from Nash Fab Co. Use this for ease of getting up on the roof, mounting things on it. I've had my shovel, had my axe on the back there. Got my full-size spare. Always good to have a full-size spare when you're off-roading, just again in case you get stuck. On my custom-built swing-out tire carrier. Seen all the professional-made ones and figured I can make it myself. So swings right out.
Oh,
got
nice.
a fire extinguisher again, just in case any fires. I was out in the Pine Barrens, got a bunch of pine needles stuck next to my catalytic converter and set my car on fire a little bit. So the fire extinguisher is a necessity when off-roading and when camping. Just always good to have that bit of safety. Actually, another one of my sponsors, Eco Hitch. They sent me a nice hidden hitch, stealth hitch down here, so all you see is the receiver, no extra pipes or anything, anything like that, without having to take the tire carrier off.
Nice.
And one of my favorite features on my car is, it's kind of a bit of an inside joke, but got my MaxTrax Micro Crew micro traction board. I've got my full-size set up top, but always love giving a shout out. Phil and the crew over at the MaxTrax Micro Crew. Another pretty noticeable modification up on the front is I've chopped my bumper. Pretty much every time I would go out off-roading, I would end up ripping the wheel well liner out. So in order to prevent that, I just cut the bumper and cut the wheel well liner.
I noticed you put some light too. Is that a Diode Dynamic too?
Yep.
Or? Okay.
Yep. These are also the Diode Dynamics fog lights.
Yeah.
And then always want to be protected out on the trail, so threw a skid plate on, and this is a stop sign ahead road sign, courtesy of I guess PennDOT or whoever. I bought it off Facebook, so I didn't. Okay. No, I bought it legally. Okay. So I put on a Tough Country 2-inch spacer lift.
Okay.
That brought the ground clearance from about 8.7 inches up to about 10.7. And then with these new tires I just measured, I'm up to a full 12 inches of ground clearance.
Now, is that a full suspension or is that spacer? What is that?
This right now is just a spacer lift. Okay. I do want to get a proper long travel suspension at some point. I did add a set of King springs from Primitive Racing, because I was getting a bit of sag in the back with all the weight, so that those extra strong springs just helps to level the car out.
Gotcha. And lastly, we got the Dad Wagon decal right there. It shows, the person you are, and enjoying it with your family.
Exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Now, lastly, Jim. So, how could they find you? If
they can find me on Instagram at Little Ruby Subi and TikTok Little Ruby Subi. I'm definitely a lot more active on Instagram.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
My name's Ricardo. This is my 1980 Z28. It's got a small block 396 in it. It was, all the work was done by Bill Moss Auto. The engine was replaced. We had the stock 350 in it, made about 190 horsepower. So we went with a 396 stroker motor, and that makes 503 horsepower. It's got fuel injection from Holley, the sniper kit. So it still looks like a carburetor. Yeah, it's fuel injection, super reliable, pretty fast. It's a fun ride.
I know the Sniper feature, they have an auto tune in there. So did you
That's right.
run it as auto tune, or was it actually tuned on it like a dyno or?
So it's all auto tune.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't have any issue with the Sniper?
No, this thing is wonderful. We put it in, hooked it up, and the thing does its thing.
It has the like a self-learning feature, right?
That's
where
correct.
It auto-correct all the fuel map and keep it going better and better?
Absolutely. Yeah, it does all that. Before this, carburetor, you know, you're in the morning, you're pumping that gas, getting the thing going. Now you just get in it, turn on the ignition, start it up, and it's good to go. Nothing like taking an old car and making it as reliable as a new car, you know?
And you got the control module inside, right?
I bought an aftermarket ashtray and I cut it up and put the screen in there for the sniper kit. So it kind of blends in, trying to keep the car looking stock. Had paint correction done on the 15-year-old paint by Relentless Perfection. We did replace the fuel tank to go with the fuel injection, so it has the sending unit and the pump in the fuel tank. I didn't want to go with a larger hood, so we had to go with the smaller air cleaner. So all this stuff, everything you see in here, these were powder coated. The intake was powder coated to match. The guys at Bill Moss Auto, they did the design basically.
Right.
Bill Moss actually custom made this piece, so we didn't have the line coming across.
Okay. Well, it's basically the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah.
Retro, and then you got all the modern.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, how you doing? My name's Eric Plebani from Plebani Built. This is my 1980 Porsche 911. It's got a dirty little secret though. It's been motor swapped with a 4G63 from an old Evo. Still uses a Porsche drivetrain. Weighs about 2,600 pounds with me in it. All the way up, makes about 800 horsepower, runs 40 pounds of boost, a little bit of nitrous, and water meth. Gears are really long. Goes through the quarter mile, high 10s in second gear, about 127 miles an hour. At Pocono, did about 174 in the Slipstream event. It's a go-kart, it's a rocket ship, but Japanese powered with German engineering. When I built the car back in the 90s, it was either you could spend 60 grand on a aftermarket like Motec system for the air-cooled engine. That's about what it would cost to get like 500 horsepower back then. Or I could just motor swap it with almost a bone stock 4G63 and make the same power. The hardest part of the build was putting a water-cooled system in an air-cooled car because there's no provisions for it, so I had to make all that myself. I constantly am evolving the car. So with technology, turbo changes, electronics, we always try to make keep up with the times. And I've done a lot of aero. I originally wanted to go 200 and in the half mile. So a lot of aero is really taken in consideration for that because that speed got coolers, oil coolers, the rad. You still want to be able to be safe at that speed, but still get your air through the coolers you need to, plus the motor's all the way in the back, right? So I have to run coolant all the way to the front. So it'll be hot back here, so you have like a timing issue and a delay from the coolant getting to the front and back to the engine. So there was a lot of consideration for that. You know, every year that technology kind of changes, we want to keep up with the time. So we refine it as we go. It was painted in 2000 and was actually in print magazines in 2002. So I've had it a while.
Okay, lastly, where can they find you?
Plebanibuilt.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You got it.
ハイパースピードメディア